All right, been a minute since I've done a review, so I want to do a review quick of three movies. Mickey-17, it had redeeming qualities. Robin Pattinson had great delivery of his lines. Thought it was very funny. His role was very funny. Very comedic. Saw a side of him you don't usually get to see in films. His comedy side, uh, and probably the most comedic he's been since maybe The Rover, which had some funny parts to it, I think. Um, but ultimately, just a woke kind of thought piece, and people who are, obviously critical of the Trump administration would get a kick out of it, but people who are just looking for a good sci-fi flick might not become too immersed because it's so topical to our politics that it kind of detracts from the sci-fi element of the film, and the sci-fi parts of the film are kind of afterthoughts. It's more the sci-fi is just a vehicle to the wokeness narratives. So I don't know. I give it a 3 out of 5, something like that. Um, Second movie I saw, and that was a while ago. Obviously, I saw that in the theaters. So yeah, it's okay. Pattinson was good. Other than that, you can toss it. Um, the Trump impersonation was too heavy-handed. The dude that plays the Incredible Hulk, you guys know his name. Can't think of it at the moment. Don't care. Um, so anyway, next film was Sinners. Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. Decent. Um, Very political, obviously. Was trying to do everything at once. Basically, threw like 10 different movies into this pastiche. It was trying to do Event Horizon. It was trying to do, John Carpenter's vampire type stuff. Um, Again, another movie that uses this topic, of how Mickey-17 uses sci-fi. We got this movie using vampire films, and kind of just uses it as a vehicle to get to these other points, some of which are valid. It's as a musical docudrama. You know, um, it's more about a celebration of music. Although I thought that the use of um, some aspects of music, and like the bad guys, play Celtic music, which is kind of strange signaling on Coogler's part. But ultimately, I think it was all for fun and jest, not saying anything about Irish people or anything like that. So and the ending you have to see. I'm not going to give anything away with that. So as a celebration of music, it's probably a B plus A minus flick. As a vampire movie, it's probably a C minus, C plus maybe a B minus flick if you're feeling charitable. Definitely not something. If you're, I mean, again, if you're into vampire movies, if you want to see good sci-fi, you're not going for Sinners. If you want a celebration of music, if you want something that discusses racial disparities, and shows actors of color and different cultural makeups and ethnicities, oh yeah, you're gonna love this. So, but depending on from which lens that you view it on, it's like a B minus, C plus film. He kind of did the Disney thing, kind of maybe from his experience. Ryan Coogler doing Black Panther, which I haven't seen, unfortunately. I know everybody loves it. I hear so much good things about it. So many good things. But kind of threw everything in the kitchen sink at this movie, and when you do that, you kind of take away your ability to really make a film. You know, so it's not a serious movie. It's not an art movie. It's not a particularly great movie. It's just a bunch of stuff thrown together, kind of. But you know, I mean, I think that the point that the director was trying to make was this riveting point about the power of music, and he definitely succeeded on that point. So I'm kind of conflicted about it a little bit. I wouldn't go see it again. Um, Ving Rhames was phenomenal. He held the movie together. There was a point where there was a little bit of a lull in the film and very, very predictable plot. Anybody who's into vampire movies or any kind of sci-fi action kind of thing. Very predictable, but Ving Rhames really uses his veteran acting skills to deliver the funniest lines and also kind of save the movie. I almost walked out, but he started making funny cracks, and I thought it was a great. I thought he was the greatest addition to the film. Without him, I don't think the film really stands as anything. But I wouldn't really recommend it. But again, there's some players in the some actors and some people in the film that definitely deserve respect and tribute, and I'm so happy that they got their shine from this film. So I'm not a hater. I just you know I love movies, and uh, I want to see gosh darn good vampire movie. And 2025 got two big name vampire movies: Nosferatu, which was trash, worst movie, one of the worst movies I've ever seen, worst movie of the year. All these awards, total trash. And then you got this movie, which is much better, obviously, but everybody is lauding it and calling it the best thing since sliced bread. 98% Rotten Tomatoes, which is why I went to the movie theater in the first place. But I did notice on Rotten Tomatoes that the reviewers were none of the good reviewers gave it a review. So um, Oliver Reed didn't have a review when I looked, and um, Richard Brody didn't have a review when I looked, and those are the two guys that I really look to now since Roger Ebert's been dead so long. There hasn't really been any good reviewers that are worth anything really, which is part of the reason why I'm trying to do this channel. So yeah, you know, I don't know, whatever. It's all political, and I think that a lot of these reviews are bought and paid for, obviously. There's no way this is a 98% Rotten Tomatoes. This is not an A movie by any standard. Not an A movie. It's all over the place, and the acting wasn't even particularly good. Besides Ving Rhames, he could have had the whole cast was disposable. He could have had a whole new cast. Um, so whatever. S B minus at best. B minus, maybe B if you're into music. I am into music. The music was great in the film. Blues music, all kinds of stuff. You're gonna see some wild music stuff that you're gonna have to check out. So if you're a music guy or girl or whatever, if you're a music person, yeah, might be worth checking out. Maybe not going to theaters for. Maybe wait until it's streaming or on Tubi or something. So then we get to the last movie, which is yeah, this one's out of nowhere. So they put Star Wars Episode 3 back in the theaters, kind of like how they've been doing every year or so. They put Phantom Menace in a couple years, whatever, you know, the kid with the pod racer and all that stuff. And I would have preferred watching that one in the movie theater because so, uh, All Style, No Substance, Episode 3. The dialogue was so bad that it was disturbingly bad. I think Hayden Christensen, I would have loved to see him have a great career. However, the dialogue in this film was atrocious. And the more that I look at Ewan McGregor, I just see him as somebody who got very lucky getting this role. I've watched a lot of his films, and he does nothing for me. Ewan McGregor is the most overrated actor I've ever seen on screen. Total not good, not a good actor. Um, and he adds nothing. And Qui Gon Jinn was cool with Liam Neeson. Of course. This movie, Episode 3, the plot is so bad. It's so predictable. It's so stupid. It's like it could have been done in a way that was artful and interesting, and but frankly, after seeing it again, I haven't seen it in years since it came out. I saw it in theaters when I was a kid. I liked it when I was a kid, and the ending is fabulous. You guys know the ending, you know. But I walked out before the ending because I just couldn't handle the dialogue. It was so bad. It was just the worst dialogue of a movie I have probably ever seen. Approaching, like I mean, that makes the room look like Shakespeare. I mean, the dialogue is just the, you know, and we forget as movie people because the Disney films, the Disney Star Wars films were so bad that we tend to forget how bad the prequels were. And man, Episode 3 is just total trash. And it's a sin because of all the money that went into making one of the most visually beautiful films ever made, right? With the CGI and just gorgeous characters, the alien characters, and the um, you know, all, it's almost worth watching because of all these side characters that you see appear on screen, and these other Jedi's, and even the backgrounds when when Padme and Anakin are just sitting around, and you see these beautiful space cars flying by in the window, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous film in terms of visuals, and you can never take that away from LucasArts and what they did. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. However, just a shell of a movie in terms of anything remotely resembling art or beauty. Um, and I can see why he sold it. I guess it just seems so uninspired. It seems so rote, like he's going through the emotions. This guy, this Jedi, it's one of the most important stories in all of Star Wars. This story of the greatest Jedi of all time, and he goes to the dark side. He becomes Darth Vader. It's supposed to be this beautiful tale, right? And it just really is told in the most uninspiring, placid, insipid way. Um, terrible, terrible, terrible dialogue, which I've said about a million times. The acting is just like lifeless. It's like somebody told all these actors, and they're not even bad actors, half these people, but they were just told to be as lifeless as possible, and nobody's buying it. I mean, how do you get trained by Obi-Wan all those years, and then in a second you're tempted and you fall and you abandon everything you've ever known and loved, and uh I guess, see, if it was made in a way that made sense, maybe it would be believable. But the way that it's presented, it's like, okay, this kid has all the training he needs and everything like this, and just this oily senator, you know, um, sells him some snake oil, and he decides he's gonna murder all the young Padawans, and total ridiculousness, um, none of it is believable or viable. Um, I and you could have turned it into a morality tale about good and evil, and how people are tempted, and people who have great talent are tempted to go the wrong way, and blah blah blah. But that was not what this was. So, um, God, excuse my language. Um, Awful, awful, awful picture. Did not make it to the end this time. I remember the ending vividly from when I was a child. I probably watched it once or twice on YouTube. Um, could not make it to the end on this one, even though the scene where he gets the hand and everything like that is pretty cool. But visually, yeah, incredible. But everything else is just, and I like some of the stuff in the prequels. I do. I would have enjoyed maybe watching a different one, maybe episode 2 or 1. Um, but God, no matter which one you're gonna watch, you're gonna witness some of the worst dialogue, and just man, he had some serious. Lucas had some serious problems in terms of writing films, and maybe he had them in the original trilogy, but we didn't see it because it was so fabulous and so novel at the time, and so original, and the world building was so interesting. But by the time we get to episode 3, it's like, man, I can see why he decided to just throw it away and sell it, because he just seemed uninspired. Um, and there was nothing more that he could do with the form that was interesting, you know. And then we got the god awful trilogy from Disney, which I mean, just brain dead um, trash cinema, not worth watching. So yeah, I'm trying to be hopeful about film, but I know I made that big proclamation, film is dead and everything like that, but um, I don't know. All these films have been really not too good, so you know, um, they got this new Thunderbolts thing, and everybody's talking about or thinking about or whatever. The reviews are coming in. Got some. I watched Mark Kermode's review of the Thunderbolts, and the way that he described it, just it's not going to be a movie I'm going to see. I don't think. I'm looking forward to the. Maybe I'll go see the Josh Hartnett picture. I kind of like the fact he's having a little bit of a renaissance after Trap, which I really liked that movie last year. Trap was good. So maybe Hartnett will deliver some good action for his new movie, that thing on the plane that I saw. Might check that out. But yeah, kind of just taking film for what it is right now, and most of my higher thoughts are committed to other things like religion and other interests, maybe basketball, NBA stuff, old NBA stuff, not new stuff, because the new stuff is kind of what cinema is now, kind of disposable. Um, Players don't really play anymore. Um, I don't know. It just seems like everybody just chucks up threes or whatever, but I don't want to get into that in this video, obviously. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the films, and I probably saw some more that I can't think of, but definitely saw some more that I can't think of. But for now, those are the three new ones in the theaters that I saw. And thank you for listening. All right, I'll check you later. Bye.